everyone, and if you're new here, my name is Deyaniracavazos and I'm an LPC Associate from the state of Texas. I also own my own private practice called Coze Mental Health Services, and I share videos on here dedicated to life owning my private practice and sharing tips for other counselors and therapists in trainings. Definitely let me know down below in the comment section if you are in undergrad, grad school, if you are in private practice or working as a therapist, or if you're in a completely different career field. I would love to know who's watching and who's here, and just to learn more about you as well. How are you all doing? Because today we are catching up. It has been a while. I can't believe that I have been sharing videos with you all for a little over 2 years. That is mind-blowing to me. And this year, back in March, was the 1-year anniversary of me launching my virtual private practice, Coze Mental Health Services, as an LPC Associate. So I was within the branch of one of the first LPC Associates in Texas to have their own private practice, because before last year, it was not something that LPC Associates could do. And so very exciting, and I've gotten to meet other LPC Associates who are on a similar path as me, and also do consultation services for those of you who have reached out wanting to launch your own private practice. And so it has honestly been such a wild and incredible ride, and I am so thankful that you all have been a part of me with that. And so truly, this video, I am going to be catching you up. It's been well over a month since I filmed a vlog, like a dedicated vlog, and so I've just been taking little clips here and there that I thought I would share with you all, because I have been plugging into so many different activities since the last time I saw you, and I thought it would be good to also give you some updates and share what I've learned in the past year since launching my private practice. Good morning. Welcome to my therapy office. Y'all are actually getting to see the background that my therapy clients get to see during my therapy meetings. So I'm starting off the day in here because I have work to do. I have 2 therapy clients that I'm going to be virtually meeting today at 1 and then 6 p.m. So I have some time in between. We're going to practice some self-care together and just have a nice relaxing time. Today was an early morning for me because I woke up at 4:30 a.m. to go drop off my husband at the airport because he's going to go visit family and do a work thing, which he's really excited about, and I'm so excited for him. And so I'm going to have a lot of time for myself. I have to input my notes in the system and do that. That's going to take a hot minute. I'm going to blast some music while I do it because it is the only way to make it enjoyable. Sometimes I also watch like a movie in the background, but today I just felt like coming into my office and busting out these notes.
Settling in, settling down. Falling in love, not falling out.
Okay everyone, so I'm ready. I have my lunch, I have my book, and my water. So I'm gonna go ahead and have my lunch outside while I read. One of the biggest lessons that I learned in my early 20s, mid 20s, and that I continue to remind myself of is that when it comes to our self-care, we are responsible, you know, to prioritize that and include that in our lives. And thankfully we also have community care, so the people around us that help us and support us so that we can also have, you know, time for ourselves. Okay, so the verdict is that it is stinking hot outside, but it's actually not that bad here in the shade. So it is warm, and I'm trying to tell myself it's okay. I made myself a little snack pack with some sandwiches, some apricots, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to reading.
Hey, I love you better today than yesterday. Every day it's gonna play out the same. Gonna play out the same. Growing as one, not growing apart.
Okay, Okay, so first of all, on a personal level, why did I even start my private practice? If you're new to my channel, my intention was to be able to work with my own Latina community. I work with Latina women in Texas 18 plus, and then also adolescents 16 plus, and I love it so much. I decided to specialize more in anxiety, depression, trauma, and family and relationship issues, among, you know, some other things that I have listed on my website. But for the most part, having that cultural aspect, you know, within my therapy services was super important to me, and me being able to be authentic, right, to who I am as a person, and having that translate into being a therapist where my clients can connect, you know, and feel comfortable. And so honestly, my first year, you know, before even having my own private practice, when I worked at another practice, that first year for me as a counselor was so important, because it was a year of observing, right? Observation as far as how many clients am I comfortable seeing, you know, for a month, during a week, during a day, you know, what is my threshold, what is my comfort range that I'm good with. So that first year was super important, and also learning, you know, how do I want clients to feel when they come see me? What do I like, what don't I like, as far as how things are run, you know, so many details that I was able to learn. And if I would have had the choice, I completely would have launched my practice post-grad, so right after graduating, if I could have. But at the time, LPC-Associates weren't able to. So as soon as the rules changed, you know, around that February time, once they went into effect by the Texas State Board, I jumped at the opportunity to be able to launch my private practice. And it was an intense wormhole, you know, of a couple of weeks and days, because I had no other choice. I had to do it very quickly, because at the practice where I was at, I could no longer work, you know, when I shared that I was going to launch my private practice. So everything had to be super quick, and I have no regrets about launching my private practice, because even though I was really terrified at times, because, you know, when you are pursuing your dream, it is so scary, because that's it, right? That's your dream and you're going for it. And there's all these fears and doubts of, well, what if it doesn't work out? You know, what if things don't go according to plan? And thankfully, you know, just like I talked about in my last video about community care, I surrounded myself with only my people, my community, people who I felt safe with, who would encourage me through the doubts and through the fears, and just hold me up and support me in various different ways, from words of encouragement to, you know, physically being with me through certain times. So remembering all of that and knowing that I vlogged and shared all of that with you all here, I look back and I wish I could tell that younger version of me who was first launching everything is going to be more than okay. You're going to be so happy. You're going to get to work with clients who are excited to work with you and who are looking forward to working with you. And you're gonna make a difference, the difference that you hope to make. It's happening. It's been happening, and you're going to love your life. I wish I could go back in time. And so saying that out loud now, it seems really crazy. Now, does that mean that as a business owner, I don't have like regular rough days like anyone else? Of course. Like, there are days where it's that time of the month, or I'm just, you know, life happens and it's a rough day and I need to clutch my pillow and lay in bed and sob. You know, obviously I'm human. But for the most part, looking back at the different stages of my life, you know, I was always really miserable in jobs that I worked. And this is the first time in my life, you know, now as going from 28 to now being 29, where I'm truly just happy. I am so happy, you know, living this life and getting to work as a counselor, as a therapist, with the clients who I'm working with, and the way that I'm doing it is really just something that I never imagined. I mean, I really saw myself one day having like a center and being in person within the community, and knowing that our dreams gradually change, right? And so now I'm working virtually online, and I'm getting to work with people within my community community all across Texas. And it's crazy how our dreams can also morph, and that doesn't mean that that might not happen one day, because I would love to have a little casita slash business where clients can come and there's a little area to walk outside. Like, I have dreams, you know what I mean? Different dreams, but I'm not in a rush to get to that point, if that makes sense, because I'm just so happy and content with where I am now. And I try to also surround myself with people who are content, or who are working to be content with where they are in life, you know, regardless of the circumstances. So currently I'm in a time where I am building good friend relationships with other therapists or others, and trying to really have people in my circle who are supportive, who are also willing to support me the way I am willing to cheer them on and support them. Like, that is the energy, you know, that I want around me. And if it's not there, I'm okay with like being alone, you know, and not having people around me, and just doing my thing, because I'm happy either way. You know, I'm happy, like you all are going to see, just going on my solo dates, hanging out with family that I love. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and hang out with my friend, chat, color, vamos a platicar. I'm gonna have my mango, my frutita. And then after, my mom's coming over at 1:30 and we're gonna make chiles rellenos.
At the terminal, with the sign close and personal, to see your face light up, ooh, she's a lightning mood. Strike shirt, I'm not careful, oh boy, one down, chasing out the summers from the city to Chattanooga. Don't you stir the thunder, don't you steal the thunder. Wake up at the right time, looking at my light. I don't say you just fly right on and on, we gotta keep it up. We gotta keep it up. Baby, take it out. You got your whole life. Put faith in the sky. On and on, we gotta keep it up. We gotta keep it up. Butterflies, I'm turning gold. Got me spinning around like vertigo. How could I feel so certain?
It's very surreal when you get to that place that you hope for, because there's always going to be more that we could do, right? More goals, more dreams. But at some point for me, it was just like, I'm content right here. You know, I'm not miserable with my job. I am meeting my basic human needs. Financially, I'm doing good. I'm able to do the things that I love. Life is good, you know? So it's been a lot of like gratitude and reflections. I don't usually journal my gratitude, but I spend time just reflecting and being mindful and kind of meditating on the contrast, right? And how things are different for me now. So yeah, I thought I would share that. If any of this relates to maybe something that you're feeling or you're hoping to feel or you're dealing with, definitely share a comment down below. In my personal life, other things that I'm really loving right now this summer, I am still currently seeing 30 to 34 clients a month. That is my sweet spot, my comfort range. I love it, and I tend to focus more on that monthly range. I really don't care what that looks like weekly, because I do have set out ranges like I've talked about in previous videos, where I don't schedule more than 5 clients within a day. And sometimes I might go a little bit over or be a little bit under, and that range is still okay with me. And I feel like I get questions about that a lot, which makes sense, because I think we're all out here trying to figure out what works. And so the thing that's been the healthiest for me is not comparing myself. So currently my favorite routine this summer, and this changes seasonally for me, is to take it a bit slower, you know, with myself. And each of us has a different definition to what that looks like, right? So that means not opening myself up to accept, you know, a ton of new clients, maybe 1 or 2 new clients a month as other clients are transitioning out of therapy. But again, just super chill because I want to have time to self-care, to enjoy the things that I want, because that is a huge value of mine, you know, knowing that work isn't everything and work isn't the only thing that defines me. I love it. I would not trade being a counselor for anything in the world. It is a passion. I love getting to work with my therapy clients, but I also love the person that I am outside of being a therapist. When I take that hat off and I get to just plug into activities that I love and enjoy and be around people that I love and enjoy also. So I know I often hear a lot of things like, well, being an entrepreneur, you never get to shut it off. And I personally cannot relate to that at all. Like, I shut it off. When I am done with seeing my therapy clients and I'm done with my notes and I've reached the time that I have allotted myself to work, I am done. I take the hat off. I am off duty. And I think that that is something that truly takes practice, and surrounding yourself with other professionals who normalize that for you. It is so important, because if we're consistently surrounded by people who are always saying like, oh, I can't shut it off, there's more work to do, and you know, the list goes on, then that's all that we're hearing, and that's all that we're now living, right, and acting out. And so something that's been important to me is also to kind of seclude myself. I don't like the word isolation, but seclude myself, you know, from people like that, and develop my own voice, my own opinions, my own thoughts as a therapist. And now that I feel confident in those things, I'm able to open myself up to relationships and be mindful, right, of the relationships and the people that I allow to come into my circle and my surroundings, because we should definitely be good for each other. You know, I should be good for them and they should be good for me. So yes, lots of self-care activities. I have my routine down where I wake up like around 7:30 a.m., go to the gym with my husband, come home, eat breakfast. Sometimes I read after the gym while I'm waiting in the car for a little bit, or when I get home. I shower and I put like my electric heat pad on my back. That, it makes me feel like I'm at a spa. I swear, it feels so good. And I'll watch something or start work. You know, I'll do computer work in bed for a little bit before I see my therapy clients, and then I'm in my office, you know, for the rest of the day. And I love it. The summer is feeling very relaxing because I am doing my part and making decisions, right, and taking action to making that happen. And that is on us, right, to be able to set those boundaries, to allow ourselves to make decisions that align with what we need. And I don't say that in, I feel like there's like an annoying way of saying that, you know, where it's like, oh, you choose what you want in life. No, I'm not about that, but I do think that gradually and gently, you know, we kind of need to take stock of our lives and see, where is there some wiggle room here, right, for me to be able to make choices and decisions that align with me. Maybe in one area, literally no choice, I have to work this job, there's no other options. But maybe if we take a closer look, you know, there might be another area that we can work through, set boundaries in. And so personal journey, you know, for me, but I feel like currently the phase that I'm in is I'm living out the benefits of setting those boundaries that I set, you know, in the previous year. I am living that out, and it feels so good to live that out. Where in my brain, when I log off of work, I do not feel guilty about logging off of work, but I had to go through that discomfort, right, of setting those boundaries for a good couple of months, years, until my mind and body got used to this new default setting and this new way of seeing life and living life. I've also been taking this summer to work on creative projects. So I ended up doing a collaboration and a workshop with my therapist friend Alexia from Inner Clara Therapy, and it was a dream to be able to host our workshop. It was called the Entre Amigas workshop, and we're going to be doing it again. I love getting to work with other therapists that I can just feel like I am myself. You know, I'm comfortable. And that's a beautiful thing post-grad. You do not have to work with people that you don't feel comfortable with. Unless you work at an agency, you know, where the decisions are made for you. But if you have your own practice, you know, you don't have to work with anyone that you don't feel comfortable working with. And so I really take time to think about, who do I work well with? Do I feel comfortable setting boundaries? And I also try to be very intentional about helping others feel comfortable enough to set boundaries. So it's very important that whoever I work with always feels comfortable and safe, because I know what it's like to be in work relationships or in a work environment that does not feel comfortable, that does not feel safe. Like, you don't feel like you can actually say something without getting in trouble or getting fired, you know? I also got my first sponsorship opportunity, which is still like, it blows my mind, because even though I have been reached out to by other brands, it hasn't been things that have aligned with our community here and the things that we're doing here. And so being able to work with this specific sponsor was a dream opportunity for me. So if you haven't watched this video, please, if you can, go support it. It would mean the world to me. But the only reason I was able to do that was because of all of you. To be told by a sponsor, you know, you have free reign, be yourself, do your thing, because your audience connects with who you are as a person, is like the ultimate dream opportunity. So I'm so thankful. I had such a wonderful experience. I've also been gradually updating my office little by little, so that's been happening. It is like 10 o'clock at night and I ended up buying a new office chair.
Son como las 2 de la mañana y no sé qué hacer. Recuerdo el sabor que dejaban tus labios, eran dulcitos como la miel, y al despertar siempre te vas, eres fugaz, ya me acostumbré.
I thought I would also share with you all some shows that I have been loving lately that have really good mental health representation. Like, I've been watching Never Have I Ever, and oh my goodness, I finished that, you know, back in June. I think I lost track of when I ended up finishing that, but it was so good. I love the different like cultural representations within it, but I also just love the therapist in that show. I feel like more and more therapists are being portrayed even better, you know, within shows, or they're at least showing therapists who are good at their jobs, you know. And there was this one scene that just made me cry. It was so good.
You're not a failure. How? Like, what's your scale? Loser to trash can? When I first met you, you were a closed off, angry little thing. You didn't want to get in touch with your feelings, your pain, your trauma. All you wanted to do was break stuff. Hell, I had to start putting all my ceramics away before you came in. Sorry. But look at you. Look how far you've come. You faced your trauma, and you came out on the other side. And I'm sorry to get a little emotional, but there were some times there when I was really worried about you, Miss Girl. Look at you today. I am so proud of you. You survived, baby. You're a survivor. You really mean that? This little college thing, this is just a bump in the road compared to everything you've already overcome. You can do anything you put your mind to.
Another show that I feel like does mental health representation, and specifically also community care representation super well, is All American. So there was a new season that came out. Binge that really quick because I love that show so much. I don't know how a show can have such devastating and painful moments and yet still be your comfort show, but that's what that is for me. It doesn't matter if I had a really low day, you know, because maybe my clients were going through really hard things, I was still able to watch that show because I love the characters. I love the talks about mental health, and it just feels so real. Like, these people feel real to me, and I love shows that do that really well. And it is a little cheesy at times because it's a CW show, but I love it. Like, I love how they represent family and friends, and just that community care aspect of people who support you and that are good for you, and showing what it looks like when people aren't good for you, and walking away from that, or walking away from opportunities, you know, that even though they're good opportunities, they're not what you actually want. So highly recommend. I also ended up binging the All-American Homecoming show after that, which is a spin-off, because I had to. I love that show so much. And again, more like community care and mental health representation, to the point where a lot of the episodes really heavily dive into different, you know, mental health issues. So highly recommend. But of course, trigger warnings. If you're watching it and you feel like, you know what, too heavy for me, don't do it. Don't watch it. But I can only talk of my experience, right? And watching it, and I thought it was so good. Both of the shows were just so good to watch. So to end this video, I thought I would share with you all one of the biggest takeaways after having a private practice as an LPC associate after 1 year, you know, of having my private practice. And one of the big ones was, you know, embracing who I am as a person, embracing my culture, and being comfortable in my own skin, and showing that with my clients and having them also feel comfortable. If you've ever watched any of the TikToks or videos of like therapists first year in therapy, and like how they gradually just like loosen up and become more of themselves, that is exactly what has happened to me in the past few years, where it's just like I'm gradually just becoming more and more comfortable. And I feel like I'm there. And sometimes, you know, that clinical side, which I don't want to ever go away, because it's that ethical side, right, that keeps us in check also, as far as like, why are you saying this? What's the point? Is it helpful? Is it gonna cause harm? So I of course never fully want that voice to go away, but I love that the other part of me is also there now, where it's more of, it's okay to be yourself. And this is why. And like I said earlier, it continues to be important for me to live in what I've created for myself, to actually be present. I don't need to continue to busy myself more. I have a whole list of creative projects, because that's who I am. But I try to think of it as, you know, I have things to look forward to in the future. Poco a poco, little by little, it'll gradually, you know, happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's okay, because we're in the present. You know, we're living this moment, and this moment is beautiful, and we're enjoying it. Or if it's not a great day, you know, we've had plenty of beautiful days of getting to live in the present too. So it's okay. Honestly, I don't think younger, early 20s me would recognize who I am now. I mean, I'm gentler, I'm kinder, I'm way more of a hype woman and an encouraging person, because life is too short not to be, you know? I also got through my first year of taxes, so yay for me. But that is it for this video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed catching up with me and just seeing what I've been up to. We will be back into more present times now, you know, now that we're pretty much caught up. And if you have any video suggestions, feel free to also leave them down in the comment section. I continue to have a list of videos that you all have suggested. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was encouraging, inspiring, or comforting to watch. Take care, everyone, and I will go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye.